Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Utini Designs. My name is Justin, and we're going to take a little journey into the XCS software by XTool that runs all the XTool machines. We're going to do a little bit of editing of some SVGs, some simple editing of some text, as well as what happens when you bring an SVG in from another maker or Creative Fabrica or freepik.com or Adobe Stock or any of the other vector stock sites out there. And how do you edit that in order to make it your own, in order to get ready to do a personalization or customization of a laser product? So if that sounds good to you, sit back and relax and we will get started. Welcome back. Let's talk a little bit about XCS. XCS, or XTool Creative Space, is the software that you use in order to run your XTool products. Okay, it is a software that is very similar to software other manufacturers provide with the machine. So you have like Bamboo Labs, who provides the Bamboo Lab Creative Space. You have Cricut that supplies their Cricut software. Many other manufacturers provide this type of software in the do-it-yourself market. Yes, you can also use third-party software such as Lightburn. But in this instance, we're going to use XCS. I believe in using XCS unless a specific reason calls for me to use Lightburn or another third-party software. The reason is that XTool and Bamboo Lab and all these other manufacturers that combine their software with their hardware, there's a reason for that. And it's so that their hardware and software works together almost seamlessly. So what you want to do is give that software a shot, because there's a reason they give you that software. They're just not doing it just to have fun with software programming. They're doing it because they want their experience and their machines to work at top-notch capabilities, and that's why they provide that software. Now, not all software that comes with machines are like that, but XTool and Bamboo Labs are great examples of that. They're kind of the quote-unquote Apple of the laser space and the 3D printing space. So let's jump into XCS. So here we have a typical file that you would bring in from Creative Fabrica, iStock, freepik, any of the vector sites out there. Okay, so this is just your typical name monogram style graphic. As you can see, when I bring it in, it comes in like this. When I click on it, I can drag it and move the whole thing around. That means that it's grouped together, okay? When I click off of it, click it back on, again, it's still grouped. So the whole thing's moving together. So up here at the top, we have ungroup. So if I click now, it separated these into different pieces. So I can move this piece, I can move this piece, I can move the in, I can move the, and as you can see, it moves all together because it's welded together, where these are not welded together. Family is probably also welded together except for the Y. So let's Command Z or Control Z to undo all that and get us back to where we were before. There we go. So basically, you bring this in, and let's say you want to customize it. Okay, you want to customize the word Johnson. You want to make that your family name. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. There's several different ways to do this. So you can ungroup, and you can come in here and delete each letter, which then gives you a blank space to put in your name. Okay, let's undo that. You can also come down here and go to the layer object list. And as you can see, this is all a group. So then you can click on each individual letter here and delete it as well. So I'm clicking on the O, deleting, clicking on the H, deleting, 0 or O, deleting, J, deleting. Okay. So, and you'll notice that some of these say compound vector. So what that is the compound vector has clipping masks built into it. Okay. So for instance, this, let me just close this down here. We're going to select this particular area here. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So right now, this is all one piece, right? And as you drag it off of the workable area, you see that there's no background behind the flowers or the leaves. It's just lines. So that is a compound vector. There's several different ways you can edit that. You can edit it by points, which you see all these little points. So I can grab this point, for instance, and drag it up and make this bigger if I wanted, and then drag this point up, make it bigger, move it around, do it however I want. Okay, but that usually makes a mess unless you're just trying to do a small adjustment. So another way to edit it is to come in here, and let me grab this compound vector again, and we're going to edit compound. So what this will allow you to do is grab excuse me, certain areas, and see if I grab this entire group, you can see this area. This black area is what is actually the white clipping mask. Okay, so let's undo that, and let's say I just wanted to grab I don't know, let's say I just wanted to grab this right here, this little white piece. So let me zoom in here so you can see that. So see, I can just grab this white piece and move it off. So let's say I want, instead of the leaf having white spaces, I just wanted it to be completely black. So I can just come in here and I can delete those. Same with the flowers. I just wanted it to be a silhouette, which honestly probably wouldn't look very good, but maybe just the leaves would look good. Okay, so let's do that real quick. Let's undo all this, and let's only delete the white areas of the compound vector for the leaves. Okay, and let me go ahead and delete these just so we can get kind of an understanding. Pan over here. So I'm just going to do part of this. That way you can kind of get a basic understanding of how this is going to work. Oh, hit the wrong one. So see, here's where there's a compound on top of something. So then you got to come in here and you got to find it. Okay, go back to edit. See if we can, okay, so that's selecting the white there. We want the white inside. And this is where it can get kind of iffy with XCS. So let me see if I can select just that white area. And it could be the way that the graphic is produced as well. So it may not just be XCS. So just for sake of argument, now you can see this is what it looks like with the leaves with a compound vector in them. This is what it looks like without the compound vector. Okay. So now that we've gone through compound vectors quickly and dirty, let's get back to the name. So we want to delete the name out. And Again, we can just come in here to our layers, delete this J. So now we have this piece that we can move all together because it's grouped. So I'm just going to come up here to the text tool, and I'm just going to type in Jacobs because that's my last name. And we're going to make it engraved so it shows up. And we're going to make this a little bit bigger. Maybe not quite that big. And we're going to change the font. So I'm going to come up here to the font selection, and I'm just going to go through some fonts here. Let's see here. Not stencil. Definitely not that one. Let's go to a normal style fonts, maybe like this. Okay. And then we want to, yeah, that'll work, I think. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to unclick this link here so it's not aspect ratio locked, and then I'm just going to drag this out to where it stretches it. So this is just an example of how you can quickly take some text and customize a graphic. Okay. So now that your text is in there, let's go ahead and relock that aspect ratio. Let's grab it all, let's group it and weld it. Now you have one solid piece. You don't have to weld it. That's just the way I do it on certain ones. But you can just group it, and now you're ready to process it. So if I hit process, I'm just going to put in a number here for thickness. Don't worry about that. So if I hit process, I'm just going to ignore that because it's telling me there's not enough power. This is how it's going to engrave. Okay. So that gives you an idea of what the laser sees from the adjustments we just made. So, hey Aiden, this is for people that want to learn how to do things in the XCS software, which is used to run the XTool lasers. So hopefully that answers your question there. So again, we can undo all that, and we can get back to the original, which was Johnson. And like I said, this is usually how it'll come in, and then you can come in here and you can edit this by doing it several different ways. You can hit ungroup, or you can go to the layers panel and you can select each individual letter and delete it out. And then you can just come over here to the text tool, type in, I don't know, makers. Size it up. Change the font. Let's go back down here to one of these fonts. I don't know. Let's just go Arial. And then we'll hit engrave, and we'll size it up a little bit. And now you've just changed that in order to customize this particular graphic for your project. You can also take this text, and I don't know if you can see it on screen here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Right here, there's an icon. Okay. So if you click on that icon, let me zoom in here so you can kind of see it. That's going to give you the ability to bend the text. So you can bend it around a circle. You can make a slight adjustment to it. You can bend it up, bend it down, and it will snap back to center. So let's say I just wanted to bend that just a little bit. So that would be a good way to do that. So let's move on to another example. Let me find my cursor here. So here's another example. This would be good for a door rounds, koozies, coasters, a wedding gift, that sort of thing. So again, we have several elements in here, as you can see by the different little green boxes that are around each element. And we're just going to ungroup that. And now we can move the K independently. So we can move that out of the way if we want. We can move each individual letter here. If we want to get rid of all those letters at once, we can, since this has so many different elements, it's probably going to be hard to do on this one. But we can come in here to our layers panel and we can select the letters just like we did before. So here is Kennedy right here, K-E-N-N-E-D-Y, and we can delete that. And again, you just come in with your text tool, type in, let's say Jacobs again, set that to engrave, set up your size, set up your font, and then we'll make a big J up here as well. So J, engrave it, size it as well. Come in here and delete this K. And let's see here. See if we have a Times New Roman font. Yep. So Times New Roman. So there. Quick and easy way to change that in just a few clicks. Again, once you're done with it, select everything, group it back, so that way when you move, it moves the entire piece. Okay. So again, this one has compound vector. So if I ungroup this, you can see this is a group and see how the dots didn't move with it. That means that that was not welded or part of that graphic. So we can select all this area here, group it, and now we can move the dots with it. So then you can rotate this around. Maybe you want to make something different. Maybe you want this here. And let's grab these. Group those. Rotate this. And again, I'm just kind of playing here. Let's rotate this more this way. And then let's delete these. So we're just deleting these here. And let's say you just wanted to make something like that. Take this, rotate it. So now we went from that first design to this design. Even though it was a pre-made design, we were able to customize it to make our own. Okay, so that's a good example of how to quickly edit text, ungroup things, and then add in your own text. So let's say you wanted to do something a little bit more complicated. So let's say you wanted to do something with a butterfly. So, but we wanted to make this butterfly turn into something like this. with text on the side. Okay, so in order to do that, let's turn back on this butterfly. Now this butterfly is also a compound path. When you click on it, as soon as I unlock it, when you click on it, you can see that there's cutouts in it. And it says, make compound path vector. So we can come in here and we can ungroup it. And now it says edit compound path or release. Okay. So it may be a compound path, but you have to ungroup it first. So let's ungroup it. Now we can come in here and edit compound path, and we can delete or move these things around. Okay. Now this is going to take forever if we want to delete all these pieces unless we draw it around it, which also selects the main body. Now we're going to hold down Shift and unselect the main body, and then we can delete those pieces altogether. So let's say we have something like this. And we're going to go ahead and hit done because we're done editing that compound path. And let's come in here with some text, and let's just say let us all, and I'm going to do this kind of in the shape of the wing here. So what I want to do is I want to make this on a different layer so I can see it. So I'm going to come in here and just place it, just get a rough placement, and then I'm going to hold down my left mouse button just to move it, and then we're going to copy and paste it, and then we're going to move our next text, and let's just say let us all be like a, and then we're going to copy and paste that, move it down, butterfly, copy and paste it. Let's see, what can we say? Let us all be like a butterfly and change. Let's not do and, let's do the ampersand sign, or not the ampersand, but the and sign, and change over time. Let me make this a small case C. And change over time. I'm just coming up with this on the fly, so to become something and I don't know, let's just say beautiful. So you just want this text to just kind of fit in the area. And again, you can rotate this, you can bend the text, you can do all sorts of stuff. Like we may bend the text up here a little bit. Maybe we'll bend that this way to kind of make this. And again, this is all subjective and up to your design. I'm just kind of showing you how this kind of works. So now we're going to come in here, and since we made those blue, I'm going to select cyan, and then we're going to group those. So we're going to go to more and group. So now these are all one piece. This is still one piece. And now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to cut right down the center. I'm going to draw a box, and we're going to take that box, make it engrave, select the butterfly, and boom. So now we're going to take this, move it over. So now we have half the butterfly with this text that kind of makes up the other kind of wing, so to speak. So that's another way you can easily change an SVG inside of XCS. XCS is powerful enough to make these types of changes. However, if you're wanting to design a full-blown SVG graphic, you probably want to go with Adobe Illustrator, Affinity Designer, any one of those programs, Inkscape, Canva, Kittle. Canva and Kittle are online graphic editing programs, but your desktop software like Adobe Illustrator, Inkscape, Affinity Designer, those are probably going to be your best bet in order to create SVGs. I probably would not create complex SVGs inside of XCS, but you can edit them. So if you don't have that software and you're just downloading graphics from Creative Fabrica or Vector Stock or Adobe Stock or iStock, any of those stock image companies, you can do it and edit it here to a certain extent. So that's just another example there. Again, same thing on the butterfly. So we've already done that example. Let's see, there's the makers that we did. Okay, so here's another one. So let's say I'm creating a door round, and I want a pattern on the bottom of the door round. You have a 16-inch door round. You might have some text up here, but then you want a pattern at the bottom. So let's build that real quick, and right here in XCS. So I have this pattern that I downloaded from a free SVG site. You just look up chicken wire, and we're going to create a circle that's going to represent our door round. So just for sake of argument, I'm going to make that 16 inches, which is roughly 406.4 millimeters, I believe. Okay, so this is going to be our door round here. And I'm just going to put it off over here to the side so we can kind of see it. So then on our door round, we're also going to have a top and bottom piece. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to lock this first circle. Okay, so that way we can't move it. That's going to be our base circle. So we're just going to call this door round base. Now this is going to be our circle cuts, and then this is our chicken wire. Okay, so we're going to select this circle. I'm going to cut, or I'm going to draw a box roughly about here, and then I'm going to copy and paste that box and drag it down to roughly about here. Okay, so I'm going to select both of these boxes. Or actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to select the circle, select the box, minus that. So now we have this top area. We're just going to have that color. We can put the chicken wire in there too. If you're going to put the chicken wire in it, you need to select it in reverse. So select the box, then the circle, and then you should be able to only get the top half of the circle here. See if that worked. It did not. Okay, let's do it the other way then. Let's do a unite at overlap. Okay, so now you have just this top circle here. Okay, so we can, fill that with a color. We can make that a pattern. So let's do the same to the bottom here. So I'm going to select, let me copy and paste this circle again. So I'm going to copy and paste it. Because we used the one already, it will not let us reuse it, unlike most vector programs. So we just have to make another copy of it, move it over to where we want. And then we'll relock this. I'm going to select these two, and I'm going to go unite at overlap. So now we have this piece and this piece. And just to illustrate that, I'm just going to give it a color and give it a color. So here's our door round. So here's our center part. Let's put some text in there, and let's just say chickens, since we're using chicken wire. And let's make that red. So we'll select it, move it to a red layer. And I'm not going to worry about the font on this. This is just to illustrate how to use a pattern inside a shape. So let's say we wanted the pattern inside the blue area. So I'm going to drag this pattern over. I'm going to resize it to roughly the size, unless you wanted smaller pieces. If you wanted smaller pieces, then you would size this down and then copy and paste and drag over until it matched up. And then you would size it down. Okay. For this particular example, we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it this size and just go slightly larger. So it's just outside of our circle here. Okay. So we're going to select our bottom half of the circle, select this, unite it, boom. Now we have chicken wire that is form fitted to that shape. So now we can have this just be something. I'm not going to put chicken wire on both, but let's grab it. Let's undo our round base here. Let's group it, move it back over. And that gives you an idea of how to quickly take a pattern and put it inside of a shape inside of XCS. And then cut it out to a specific shape. So then when you go to laser this, you would want to ungroup, or not ungroup it, but you could select different pieces like I have here, put them in to different color groups. So for instance, we want the chicken wire to be a different color. So I'm going to make it green. I'm going to make the door round red. I'm going to make the top part. What happened here? Cancel that. There we go. Sorry about that. We're going to make the top part purple and make the text this blue. So normally I make my cut lines red. So I could come in here, make sure my door round is selected, move that to cut. Now we're going to go to purple. We're going to move that to engrave. We're going to go to blue, engrave, and we're going to go to green, cut. Okay. So now when you take this into your laser, it's going to cut out that 16-inch door or that 16-inch shape, which obviously the P2S will not do. You would have to cut this in half and make puzzle pieces in order for it to lock together. But you would cut that shape. Oh, hit the wrong button. Then you would cut this shape here. And you would engrave chickens, or you could even cut out chickens out of letter, or the letters, and then glue them to the backer. And then you would cut out the chicken wire, which would end up engraving, or not engraving, but cutting out, very similar to this here. This is how it would look. Oh, it helps if I turn off the other pieces. Turn off the output for these. There we go. So it would cut out just this piece, and then you could glue that to the bottom of your door round. So you could make that out of 1/4 inch, 6mm MDF, paint it, whatnot. So that gives you an idea of how to kind of play with some vector shapes, some text, some clipping masks, some compound paths, compound vectors inside of XCS, and customize some things pretty quickly, whether you created it yourself, whether you downloaded it from any of the stock SVG sites out there. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into how to do this. As always, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. I'll answer them as soon as I can get to them. You can also subscribe to our Patreon, and you can ask questions there. Here is our Patreon link. You can subscribe there, and you get access to SVG files, and you get access to me to answer questions if you have issues. You also get first come, first serve basis on jigs that we design and put out, and it helps build this channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. Not sure if we'll hit that mark, but we're hoping, and we can only do it with your help. So please hit that like and subscribe. Share this with any of your other friends that are into lasers, 3D printing, Star Wars collectibles, graphic design, anything like that. And that way we can help you, and hopefully that will get you inspired and get you to creating as well. So let's close this out here, because we just wanted to keep it short and sweet tonight. Didn't want to take up too much of your Sunday night. So the Daytona 500 restarted a little while ago. As far as I know, it's still going. Be sure to check that out if you're into racing or NASCAR. I believe it's on Fox. And then if you have any questions, as always, hit our Patreon. Shoot me an email. Go to our website, which is utinidesigns.com. You can shoot me an email there, or leave a comment down in the video, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But hopefully this helped you learn a little bit about the XCS software that runs the creative space software that runs the XTool lasers. Again, this will work for the M1, the M1 Ultra, the F1, the F1 Ultra, P2, P2S, S1, D1. What other ones did I got? I think that's it. I think I named them all. But this will work with the XCS software for the XTool lasers. So I want to thank you again for joining us tonight, and hopefully you learned a little bit on this, and we'll see you next time. And keep on engraving, keep on designing, and keep on having fun, because that's what this is all about. Have a good night, all. See you later.
Potato!